always been like, so aggressive and strong, and where jiu-jitsu showed me a whole nother part of me that I didn't know. It showed me how to be calm, cool, and collective. It showed me, how to stay, calm during really hard times, where before it was all about like force, and here it's the opposite, just using the other guy's, energy, techniques. You might be smothered. There's a little bit of air. Breathe, find yourself, finding their solution to everything. If you have the right mindset, if you're solution-based, there's no problem that cannot be solved. And that's what jiu-jitsu is, like human chess. Every move you make, there's something that I can counter you with.
All right, today we have Yaniv Rosenberg here on the Reputation for Winning podcast. He is an unbelievable jiu-jitsu coach. He has a program called the 1% Coach, and he is local here in Plantation, Florida. He's got a great jiu-jitsu studio. He's also a huge presence on social media. This guy is a badass, and he is probably one of the most positive people that I have talked to. Just really great words of wisdom. I've been looking forward to this for weeks, and he's here now, so make sure you watch this episode.
3, 2, 1, let's go!
I was a total screw up in college, and I had like really no direction, but I knew he was a lawyer. I didn't know what lawyers did.
Right.
And somehow I was able to get into a special program at a law school, and I was still not in the right frame of mind, but I got in.
Right.
And I ended up quitting actually after like 2 weeks. I was not in the right state of mind. I was in bad shape when I graduated from college, just partying too much, substance abuse.
Yeah.
And then I quit that program, and fortunately that summer I got help, and I took a year off. And then something later on in that year, after I got myself together and working like a 9-to-5, crappy data analyst input job, I was like, all right, I'm ready to go back, and I did everything I could. I reapplied and ended up getting into this another special program where I competed against a bunch of students. It was like 200 students, and only 30% got in. But that was all I had. Like there was no other direction I had. And so I put everything, my heart and soul, into getting into law school. And then somehow I found, like, maybe it's in the DNA, but I found a passion. Yeah. That was it, Yeah. That was my goal.
That's awesome.
So, but yeah, you're right. You got to, when you go back and you ask the why question, there's like a book about it. I think it was Simon Sinek wrote a book called Why or something like that, the question of why. But when you keep asking that question, it goes layer by layer by layer, right?
It keeps going, brother. It keeps going, and
we don't want to ask that question though.
We don't because we're afraid of the answers,
right?
It goes into like marriage, like a lot of people marrying the wrong people.
Yeah.
A lot of people staying in a marriage for the wrong reasons. There's a lot of people are staying in the wrong jobs, staying in the wrong careers, like a lot of different things that they're not aligned, and that's why they're not happy. And the reason they're not happy is because they're not aligned. So now they got to numb themselves, if it's with weed, drinking, whatever, porn, whatever the hell you could think you can get into, that's just what starts happening, But once you're aligned, you don't need no distractions. You don't need anything to numb you.
So the way that I found you was I'm just scrolling, and I see this fucking jack dude in the gi, and whatever you were saying was powerful. You know what I mean? Like it was like I was like, man, like that is like good stuff. And like not just like good stuff, but like eloquently spoken and from the heart, how like, and I guess that's something that you do at the end of each jiu-jitsu class. Is that what you do?
Yeah. Yep.
So how did you end up on social media? Like how did those videos come about?
So I started originally, I had a regular social media account like everybody else. Yeah. And I would post, just family stuff and some selfies, whatever, a little bit of jiu-jitsu, a little bit of working out. And the way I actually started posting motivational stuff was, like I was telling you earlier, one of my guys is like, Yaniv, how come you don't record these videos? And I said, oh, it's for the class. And he's like, man, this is really good stuff. He's like, you have to post this. So he started recording them. He gave them to me. And then he's like, just post it. And I started posting it. And then it went viral.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unbelievable. See, like it's like those little things, like at the end of you had, and what's tough to like, I guess, is that there had probably been so many other great speeches. You know what I mean?
Hundreds, thousands, literally thousands.
Yeah, yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I do about 2 or 3 a week,
Really?
and I've been doing this for over 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, well, listen, you know what? It's like, when's the best time to plant a tree? It's now, right?
Now.
And so now there's this documentation of the great wisdom that you actually talk, say to the people that are in your class and talk about.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to know, do you like, it's just for my own curiosity, do you like plan out the speech that you're going to talk about that day, or at least have like a topic? It's almost like, or is this just like your natural, like, hey, you know what, this is what we're going to talk about today?
9 out of 10 is just natural.
Yeah.
So usually it's something that happens to me throughout the day.
Yeah.
So what happens is, like, let's just say I'm on a coaching call with somebody and an issue pops up, an obstacle, and then I see this person struggling with it. I know that many others are also struggling with this. So then I'll bring it up and make a lesson out of it. I'll never call it the specific person out, but I just say, hey, I had a conversation with this person and this is what's going on and this is how you deal with it.
Yeah.
And that's just what happens. Or I might go pull up to a store and see somebody, do something good or bad, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk about this or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I might be teaching and I see somebody quitting before they should have. We're going to talk about, perseverance. We're going to talk about not quitting. And then again, it goes way deeper than just the mats. Then it goes into life, like what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, yeah. No, all that stuff. I mean, jiu-jitsu is just, and again, I've never gotten into it. When I was younger, I did karate, but like I feel like jiu-jitsu is just like that, this surface part of the thing, and there's so much more deeper stuff that goes along with it. Like you mentioned before, it's just like you have people that come to the class and they have so many other things that are going on in their lives, and jiu-jitsu is like this one step towards actually helping them clean up the other things that are going on in their lives.
So the reason jiu-jitsu is so good is because it's very, very difficult. And it's not just difficult like physically, it's difficult mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You'll get constantly be put in really bad positions. And you're going to lose. So when you lose, your true character is going to come out. Are you humble? Do you have humility? Are you a sore loser? Are you a quitter? Same thing when you win. Are you going to be celebrating, pounding your chest? Or are you going to help the guy up?
Yeah.
There's just so many lessons that are learned on the mat. Somebody's on top of you. You're stuck. Are you just going to tap because you're stuck, or are you going to work your way out of it? Someone has a choke on you. Are you just going to tap because they applied the choke, or are you going to fight it out? And now when you're fighting out, that shows that you got heart. There's just so much to learn. So now let's just say you're at the worst of everything. You're a sore loser. When you win, you boast, you quit when things don't go your way. Everything about you sucks right now.
Yeah.
You come to jiu-jitsu and you come to a place like mine, I'm going to make you a better person because I'm going to help you not be a sore loser. I want to help you when you win not to boast. I want to help you not to quit. I want to help you just see things differently and just make you a better human being. So now you take all those traits that come out on the mat, because you get constantly, remember on the mat, it doesn't matter that if you're a millionaire or if you're poor, it doesn't matter your color, it doesn't matter your religion, your profession. Everyone's equal. Mm-hmm. Even with the belt, you might have a black belt, white, it doesn't matter. So when you walk onto that mat, everything that comes out is just exactly who you are. There's no hiding. We're not hiding behind a suit, behind a gi, behind anything.
Yeah.
So now we can start fixing. We see where you lack, where your strong points are, and we help you. And then from there, you take those traits and you bring them back home. You bring them back to work. And life just becomes better. Become a better husband, better father, better businessman, better employee, whatever it is you are.
That reminds me of the movie Fight Club, where Edward Norton and whatever, the complex movie, but you've seen Fight Club, right?
Yep.
Where it was like you have just this group of people, and it didn't matter what level of society you were, whether you were the maitre d' or whether you were this executive or whatever. It was like everyone comes in equal, and there was like that level of like even the lowest person can still win. You know what I mean? Even the person who doesn't have money in their in their bank account or whatever, they're able to step into the arena, and you're equal. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Which is, I've always admired it just from watching, UFC fights and stuff like that, and the Gracies and stuff, just going back in time. But I've never gotten into it. But
We're gonna get you in, brother. We're gonna get you in.
I'm gonna have to go. It's just
We're gonna
it's
get you
gonna be
in,
a must.
guys.
Yeah.
We're getting them in no matter what. You already vouched.
When did you so tell me just a little bit about yourself. Like, where'd you grow up, and like, give me a little bit of your thumbnail sketch of your story.
Originally, I was born in Tel Aviv, Israel. I lived there till about the age of 12. We moved to America. When we moved here, we grew up very, very poor. 6 people in 1 bedroom. I grew up around gangs.
Yeah.
My parents were just trying to learn English. I lived in really bad neighborhoods. So I had to fight all the times, like, oh, who's this, Israeli kid, in this neighborhood. And the gangs that were around my town were Crips. So when I was like 13, something like that, I joined Crips.
Really?
Yeah, IGC, Insane Gangster Crip. And I did that for a little while. And then from there, I went and played college football in California.
Uh-huh.
And as I was telling you earlier, I came down to visit my parents. My buddies were walking around downtown. I was walking with them. They got into an argument with some guys, got into a fight. Everybody ended up fighting. I ended up knocking out the guy. Everybody ran. I didn't run because the guy swung at me first. The police came, said, hey, he's knocked out. You're not. You're going to jail. So they took me to jail, and they charged me with 2nd-degree felony. And it's like 2 to 15 years they try to give you, right? And then, thank God I was able to beat that.
Yeah.
I did some anger management, some community service.
Sure. Did they reduce the charge? Is that
Yeah,
what
they reduced the
brought it
charge.
down like a simple battery or something like
Yeah,
that?
correct.
Yeah.
That's what they did. And I started going the wrong route. Before I started going the wrong route, since I didn't go back to California, I still wanted to play football. So I went and started playing for a team called Florida Titans. Mm-hmm. And that was semi-pro football. And I did that, but then I tore my knee. And I got depressed.
Yeah.
And I said, man, just started going the wrong route. And I started getting work from some wise guys to do collections.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if people owed you money, somebody owes Rosen,
Yeah.
50 grand, you call Yaniv, and Yaniv went to go get your money. And then I would get a percentage. And I made really good money. I had a nice condo on the beach, young man, jacked, ripped, beautiful women,
Gee.
Rolex, pinky ring.
Yeah.
22-inch rims back in the days, the whole 9 yards. And then I used to give envelopes of cash to my parents. And my father said, what are you doing? I said, nothing. He's like, you selling drugs? I said, no. He said, well, whatever you're doing, you're going to end up dead or in prison. So he said, do something you love. I said, well, the only thing I love to do is play football, work out, and fight. He said, well, you can't play football no more. Why don't you teach people how to work out and fight? He said, because if you go to jail or if you die, you're going to ruin everything I sacrificed for. And, bro, I love my family. You know what I mean? And my dad was a tough man. And to look him in the eyes, to see all the sacrifices he made to bring us to America, to destroy all that, I couldn't let that happen. So I stopped doing everything I was doing. And because I have a good name everywhere I go, because I'm not a snitch, am I allowed to curse?
Yeah, fucking
I'm not a bitch.
Fucking curse.
I'm really straight. You know what I mean? Whatever I'm in, and I don't half-ass it. And when I told the people I was working with what I was doing, that I was going to this life, they all shook my hand and said, good luck. And from there, I got a job at a gym. I moved back to my parents' house, got rid of everything, and I was making $7 an hour minus taxes. It was like $5 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And in about a year, I was one of the top trainers in the country. And they offered me management position. This is back in 2002, 2003. And back in the days, it was like 75 grand a year plus full benefits.
Yeah.
So I remember telling my parents, and they're like, oh my gosh, you got to take it. And I was like, I'm not a corporate guy, because everything with that job was about money. They didn't care that I trained Eric and I got Eric good results. They just cared this Eric signing up again.
Yeah.
And bro, for me, money is secondary. It's always been. And instead of going with them, I took a loan off my credit card. And it was like, I don't know, 25% interest, you know, something crazy,
interest,
right?
Yeah.
And I opened up my first gym. I called it Crave Fitness Inc. And from there, I used to work from 5 a.m. to 9 o'clock at night every single day until I built it up. And before you know it, I started killing it.
What type of gym was it? Like a fitness gym? So
Yeah, it was a personal training studio
Personal training.
with like self-defense.
Got it.
But it wasn't classes. It was just private. So like
Uh-huh.
you came to me and say, hey, I want to learn how to fight. I would teach you. You say, hey, I want to get fit. I'll get you fit. Whatever your goals were, was specifically it was to you. So it was one-on-one. And I did that. I did one-on-ones till 2008. I used to also invest in real estate.
Yeah.
I used to flip properties. And when the economy crashed in 2008, my gym went down by 70%.
Yeah.
I lost a shitload of money with the properties. And I said, man, I need to open up a school. And then I opened up my services to groups. And that was really hard, man, because I was charging back in the days like $75, $100 an hour
Yeah.
to do one-on-ones. Now I was charging people like $100, $150 for the month, you know, and they can come every day.
Sure.
So that was like a hard pill to swallow. But again, it ended up being good. Now I have a full-blown academy.
Yeah.
And many, many ups and downs, brother, you know.
That's life, right?
Many, many ups and downs. I lost both my parents, you know. I lost my dad in 2005 to cancer. I lost my mom later on. So I've been through a lot. I have a lot of stories.
Yeah, man.
I have a lot of stories.
When I'm sorry to hear about your parents. I lost my dad this past summer, so I can empathize.
Yeah, brother.
It's a tough thing, especially with what you mentioned, like having a dad that, you know, at least for you, where the conversation he had was like this defining moment that actually completely changed the trajectory of your life, right? I mean, that
Everything.
conversation was it,
Everything.
you know. And you think about parents, like that's what parents are supposed to do. You know what I mean? Is like all they could do is kind of, you're the arrow in that bow, and they got to point you in the right direction, you know.
Yeah.
And you know.
Yes. You know, you don't realize how important your parents are, you know, until you get older.
Yeah.
You know, and as a young man, when your parents talk, you're like, yeah. Okay, mom. Okay, dad. Whatever. You roll your eyes. What does dad know? He knows nothing. You know, he's old school. Whatever bullshit you're saying to yourself. But what you don't realize is those two people, if you have decent parents,
Yeah.
those two people will give their whole lives to you, for you to have a better life, for you to become a little bit better than them, for you to have a little bit easier path. But the thing is, we fight it. You know, kids, we fight it. But, you know, my dad never told me, like, man, like, I love you, or gave me a lot of kisses or anything like that. My dad was like a really old school, hardworking man. But, man, he disciplined us. He whooped our ass when we needed to get our ass whooped. And he let us know that he loved us, you know, by showing up. You know, and when I got locked up, when they bailed me out, they pulled the car over outside Fort Lauderdale, you know, the jail over there.
Yeah.
And they jumped me. My brothers and my dad jumped me. I said, you piece of shit. They're like, yeah, like you fuck up the family name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, you might say, oh, that's crazy. Well, I needed it.
Yeah.
I needed it. You know, like, so having real parents, you know, parents are not supposed to be your friend. You know, and I think today's society, what's fucked up is all the parents want to be liked by their kids.
Yeah.
Our parents didn't care if we liked them or not. It's like, motherfucker, do what you got to do, or you're going to get your ass kicked. You know, and that's what it was. You know, like I said, we didn't grow up with a lot, and whatever it was, period.
Yeah, there's definitely and I wonder if there's definitely a generational difference now, like with how parents raise their kids, like 1,000%. You know what I mean? Like it used to be I think a more tougher. Like I never had like my dad wasn't like that. You know,
Right.
My parents got divorced when I was very young, so I actually didn't get to spend too much time. I would see him like every other weekend. We'd get dinner like once a week, and so unfortunately, I didn't have that father figure in my house. You know, and I had my mom. And, you know, listen, did she hit me with a moccasin or whatever, or like a sandal every so often, you know, when I was causing trouble? Sure. But it's different. Like with my kids, I'm like, I'm definitely not the disciplinary dad. I mean, I put some discipline down, but like
Right.
my wife's probably much more, they
Yeah.
fear her more than me for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is. I think it's a generational difference. But yeah, I mean, you wonder if there's something lost where that like that stern parent, the stern parents are now gone. You know what I mean?
Sometimes I talk to my brothers, and one of them will be like, "Oh, like we grew up rough. Like dad, would beat us when we would fuck up this and that." I said, "I wouldn't change a thing." He's like, "Oh, I never hit my kid." And I said, "Okay, that's on you."
Yeah.
I said, "When your kid needs an ass whooping, he needs an ass whooping.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to talk because they don't understand you. Do you understand? Like sometimes you can talk all you want till you turn blue. They're not listening.
Yeah.
But when they fear you, later on they'll understand you. But when they fear you, they say, man, I better not do that because dad's going to F me up." So it's a funny story. When we came to America, I'll never forget, the teacher goes, "If your parents hit you, call the cops." I remember this conversation. And I remember I fucked up in school. And my mom, like they would call my mom, then my mom would let my dad know, and my dad would come home from working construction all day, pissed off, and I knew I was getting my ass kicked. So he came home, and I knew I was going to get my ass kicked. I go, "Dad," "the teacher told me, if you hit me, for me to call the cops." And he goes, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." So he takes the phone, the old school phones, like plugged into the wall. He goes, shh, he moves it over, and he goes, "Go ahead, call the cops." And he goes, "By the time they get here, you'll be dead." He goes, "So it's up to you. You want to take your beating like a man for fucking up, or you want to call the cops, be dead?" He goes, "Nobody can save you, only God." Put the phone down, took the ass whooping, and kept on moving forward.
Oh, man.
And it's funny, bro, because here's the thing, right? Like when you hear people talk about their dad, guys that never got beat or this or that. And I remember I didn't get abused. I got disciplined.
Sure.
I rarely meet anybody who talks as highly about their father as I do. And you said, "Man, didn't that guy whoop you?" I said, "Yeah, he did, but I needed it." See, I was aware that I needed it
Yeah.
because I was too wild. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you have tattoos, you do drugs. He used to tell us, he goes, "You're dead."
Yeah.
Dead. And we knew he would kill us, and he didn't care. So guess what? Nobody in my family got tattoos. Nobody did drugs.
Yeah.
Like there was a real threat there.
Yeah. There was.
Remember,
a line.
like I grew up around gangs. Everyone had tattoos, bro. I'm not talking about like a tattoo on the arm, on the face,
Yeah.
pitchforks, fuck you on the knuckles, bro. The whole 9 yards, right?
Yeah.
Thug life, everything. I never had a tattoo. All my friends tattoos. All my friends, those times, smoked weed, drank 40s, all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Nothing. How? Because I had a father who let me know right and wrong, and I knew there was a consequence.
I think part of it might be also like the Israeli culture. Like there's a tough line there. You know what I mean? Like you're living in a hostile area, right? Like you're constantly in this fight mode, right? Where you want to, like, I think like that father figure, that the patriarchy wants to make sure, like, hey, you're like, you need to be locked in all the time. You know what I mean? And if you're messing around, I think definitely, don't you think like American cultures probably loses some of that for sure?
So, I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
We weren't ever super religious, but we always did Shabbat dinner. No matter what was going on,
Yeah.
you showing up for Shabbat dinner. You don't show up, again, you're dead meat.
Yeah.
He used to call us meatball. He goes, I'm going to turn you into a meatball. And you showed up. And guess what? Today, every one of us, all our families, we all have Shabbat dinner.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
All my family. I don't care where you are. All my kids, everybody's got to show up Friday night. Everyone's together. My brother's families, everybody's together. My other brother, everybody's together. And my sister, everybody together. They ingrained that in us. And again, it's way deeper than just for the religion part of it. It lets you sit down, put the phones away, do a little prayer, and be together.
Yeah.
So man, I think having a strong father figure in your life is imperative. And a lot of people have it all wrong. They just want to keep providing for their children.
Yeah.
I want to make sure my kids are good. I want to make, bro, all you got to do is give them good character. Bro, my brothers and I, my brother David, he's one of the biggest jewelers in the country, Rosenberg Diamonds.
Okay.
Give him a shout out. My brother Daniel took over my dad's company, entered the core construction, $1 million projects. Everyone became super successful. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
You know, they were like, money's not an issue. You know what my parents left us? Zero.
Yeah.
You know what they gave us? Character, discipline,
Yeah.
perseverance. You know, so to everybody who's listening, you know, like, stop babying your kids. Stop trying to give them everything. As a matter of fact, do the opposite. Give them less. The less you give them, the hungrier they get. The more you give them, the shittier they become. That's just how it works. I've been coaching people, bro, since 2002. So what, 24 years now. I've trained privately the richest people, and I've trained people who are poor. You see, man, the people that get everything, their kids, they're not so good, man. Become very ungrateful. Very rare to find somebody who's been given everything that has like, who's a mensch.
Yeah, yeah.
Very rare.
You know, I think it's funny because I definitely spoil my kids. I definitely do. Like, I overly spoil them. But, and well, you tell me what you think, but like, I think for me, like, I got to lead by example. Like, for them, like, hard work, going to the gym, like constantly staying on top of things, handling like everything that you can, and like doing the right thing, like being a good person. You know what I mean? That's like, and showing up for them, like being there, like no matter what. You know what I mean? That's something like I'm like that's like one of the best things that I could do for them. Even though like I do like, but like, and like living that example, like living a life of adventure and like doing, you know, going on the trips, going on the vacations, coming up with cool stuff to do as a family. And then also giving them their space to be, you know, with their friends and doing the things that they do. You know, but I definitely do spoil them, you know. It's like, you know.
Remember we were talking earlier,
yeah,
before the cameras were on, about my video that says why.
Yeah.
So you got to ask yourself why. Why are you spoiling them? And then you'll start getting your own answers. You don't have to tell me.
Yeah.
Right? And then you'll figure out, you know, what's the right thing to do. Me, brother, personally, is like, you know, I have 5 children, and I make them earn everything. I find things for them to do. They always got chores, and I try to make their life actually as hard as possible, because they're in a disadvantage because they didn't grow up like me. I had no choice but to have it hard, right? Because that's all we had. We had hard. But me, I'm well off, you know, financially. I speak English perfectly. Mm-hmm. You know, I have an established businesses, and we live in a nice house. I drive nice cars. So to them, they think that's normal. But that's not normal. That was earned through a lot of sacrifice, a lot of hard work, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So if you were just born like that, into that type of family, mm-hmm. you don't know what it takes. So now I got to show you what it takes. So now I got to create those obstacles for you, because those obstacles are not there in your neighborhood. They're not there in your household. You know, we had times in our house, you open up the fridge, there ain't nothing there. We had times in our house, you turn on the light, and the light goes, zzz, and it'll be off because my parents couldn't afford the electricity. Same thing with water, right? So it creates something in you, a hunger, a drive, a determination to never get to that point again. But if you grow up wealthy and you open up the fridge and you see a million things, you say, oh, Mom, what's there to eat? This. I don't want that. I want this. I want that. They start fucking bitching and complaining and this and that. You know, I made a video that also, it went viral. This was a long time ago on TikTok about kids. You know, respect your parents, because you guys are Section 8 tenants. Mm. All kids are Section 8 tenants, right? What is Section 8? You're subsidized. You're subsidized by the government, but you're subsidized by your family, by your parents. You didn't earn anything. Your room and board is covered. Your food is covered. Your electricity is covered. Your clothes are covered. What do you bring to the table? As a matter of fact, I tell all my guys that I coach, I'm like, you don't even have to like your kids. You don't even have to like any of them. I was like, just because you popped them out doesn't mean that they're anything to you. And people might say, oh, this guy's crazy. I'm like, no, man. If you want me to like you, you got to have something likable about you. You're a hard worker. You know, you're honest. You're determined. you're giving, you're sincere, you know, you hold somebody's door. You have good characters. But just because you're my child, if you have bad characters, I don't have to like you. I have to take care of you because you're my responsibility, right? But I don't have to like you. You know what I mean? For me to like you, you got to earn it. So how do I like my children? I like my children when I see them treating each other right, when I see them doing the right things for others, when I see them not being bullies, when I see them helping others, when I see them respecting their mother, when I see them doing their chores. You know, they see something on the floor. I'm like, yo, didn't you see that? Oh, no, I didn't see it. I was like, you fucking saw it, motherfucker. Don't act like you didn't see it. I was like, you're a lazy son of a bitch. Now go there and pick it up. As a matter of fact, now go around the whole house and pick everything up, whatever you see. Because I'm trying to get them to be aware. As a business owner, when I'm teaching a class, my eyes are everywhere. I see everything. I see from the weakest link to the highest person.
Yeah.
I see if there's a crumb on the floor. I see if a parent is worried about their child. I see everything. And this is because this is how I was raised. This is, you know, my awareness of everything that's going on. You're not just born like that. You know what I mean? So they need a lot of correction. And eventually they can become likable people. You could only like them when they're little, you know, and they're cute.
Yeah.
But, you know, like you see your kids are now 12. They start becoming little assholes. Bro. This is just the truth.
Yeah.
Wait till they turn teens. You're like, wow, like these are my kids. Brother, from like 13 to like 17 is a shit show for every parent. I'll never forget when we started with 4 kids. We had 4 kids in 3.5 years. Right?
Oh, man.
And people were like, oh, man, like, enjoy this time. Older people. And it was tough because we were all so little.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're like, just wait till they get older. Real problems are coming. And I was like, what's real problems? And the real problems come.
Yeah.
That's when drugs can come in. That's when boyfriends, girlfriends come in. That's when, you know, insecurities. That's when mental stuff comes in. Like, all kinds of stuff happens in that age. That age is very sensitive. And if you don't raise your kids right, strong and tough, brother, I talk about the devil all the time. He's going to pull them.
Yeah, yeah.
He's going to pull them and steal your kids right in front of you.
That is a critically important age, especially with all the hormones and stuff and puberty. It's like they completely change. Right. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah. I mean, you've been through it. See?
I've been through it. I've been through it. And I'm on the tail end of it. You know, I have a little one.
Yeah.
But the first 4, I'm on the tail end.
How old are they right now?
19. Next one's going to turn 18 in March. The next one's going to turn 17 in March. And then 15 and 8.
Yeah, yeah. So they're all there. And then there's an 8-year-old, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. That's not, you know, it's funny because I have my sister-in-law has 2 little ones, and they're like, you know, 2 and, you know, actually 1 and 2 or something like that, 1 and 3. And it's like a nightmare when they come because they're just all over the place everywhere,
right.
You know, but,
right.
And I think it's because like at that time, like when my kids were there, like you're in a place where like you're ready to handle it and do it. It's exhausting, but it's that fun thing. You're watching them. But then like once you're out of that phase, like you're ready, You're ready for the next phase when the next person's coming along.
Right.
And it's not easy. It's like really, really hard.
Yeah.
So I'm preparing for that phase, that teenage phase.
Brother,
and
you know, and the next thing, man, is marriages, right? You know, like, bro, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
You know, man, like you're too giving, you're too sweet, you're too caring, you too much everything towards your wife. You're dead meat.
Oh yeah,
brother, you're dead meat, man. That's the worst mistake you can ever make in your life. You know, like I'm sure you heard of the term simp.
Yeah, I've heard that simp. Yeah,
brother, man, like I cannot tell you how many good guys I know and that I've coached in my lifetime that have ended up in a divorce or in a miserable marriage, sexless, or all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're just too good.
Yeah.
You know, when I say too good is too giving, yes. And at the end, all they hear is no.
Yeah.
Right? So as a man, going back to the children, you need to be tough and firm and not be their friend and be the leader. Well, same thing with your wife.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, your wife's your partner. No, she's not. She's not your partner. You're the leader. You lead the family.
Yeah.
You lead, everybody else follows, period. You know, I go very old school with that. And then guess what? When you take that leadership position, the women, they look up to you. The women want to follow you. Because you got to remember, naturally, that's just the order. Mm-hmm. Right? There's an order in life. It's God, man, woman, children. It's not the other way around. You know what I mean? So when we follow the order, things fall in line. When we go out of order, when the wife starts telling the husband what to do, you know what I mean? And when the wife starts using sex as a weapon, when the wife's not working and the husband's killing himself all day long, and then he comes home and she bitches at him, we got a problem. You know what I mean? So we need to fix all that. And the way we fix that is with strong leadership.
Yeah, listen, it's funny because, again, I think we're definitely in a place right now in society where there's definitely a very different view from other people, right? I'm a traditional guy, right? I'm a traditional guy. Like my wife, she's a stay-at-home mom. But she takes care of the household. I mean, I say she works very, very hard because it's not easy what she does. And whenever I try to stand in those shoes, it's very, very difficult, for me. But I like that thought process, I mean, it's something I think that you may get resistance from some people, you know what I mean? But I think men need to hear it, right?
Everybody needs to hear it, brother. People who resist, they just deep down, they know the truth. Everybody knows the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's when you see guys like, oh, why are you smoking weed every day? Because he got to numb himself because he knows things ain't right with his kids, with his old lady, or whatever. Why is he drinking? Why is he staying at work all day and not coming home? Right? Because he doesn't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
Right? So, in Jiu Jitsu, we talk about all the time. If you run away from your problems, they only get bigger. Right? So if I'm going to take your back and you don't try to face me and face your problem, I'm going to take your back and choke you out.
Yeah.
So same thing with everything. With your wife, with your kids, we got to face them. I mean, nothing in life's supposed to be easy. But if you do things the right way, at least you're going to go on the right path, and then things are going to fall along. But you're still going to have hiccups. And bro, I wanted to tell you something. You were saying, like, my wife's also stay home. She's been at home. When I met my wife, she had a degree in finance. And I told her, I said, listen, I said, you want to marry me? I was like, I'm old school. Mm-hmm. I was like, you're going to be home. You're going to be barefoot and pregnant. That's just the way it is. You're going to cook, clean, and give me children. I was like, that, or you can go work, but meet somebody else. That's not for me. I said, I'll provide, I'll protect, I'll take care of the family. Deal. We made a deal. That's what happened. But I also want to say something, bro. Like, people say, oh, housewife's the hardest job in the world. No, it's not. This is just what we've been brainwashed to make the women feel good. Okay? It's not like old school, bro, 1950, bro. My mom, okay, I was born in 1980. My mom, we lived on the 4th floor. Okay? No elevator. Walk up the stairs with 4 kids. Cook, clean. When I'm telling you, do laundry by hand. Hang it on the line. Walk to the grocery store with 3-4 bags every day. Walk back and forth. Things were way different, bro. No cleaning lady. No cleaning lady. No going to Starbucks. None of that shit existed, my friend. Now today, a housewife. First thing, if she's a housewife today, that means the husband makes good money, right? Because it's not easy. Yeah. He makes good money to keep her at home. Most of them have cleaning ladies and they go out to eat and date nights and this and this and this. Bro, my mom never had a date night with my dad. Once in a blue moon, there was a wedding. Every 5 years, they went to a wedding or something. So back then, it was hard. Today, it's not hard. Why is it so hard? They go to daycare. They go to preschool. They go to school. They have everything, brother. They have everything.
Dude, why I like you is
bro,
because...
and they still manage to bitch and complain. It's like, what are you complaining about? Oh, the kids. Like, bro, that's your job. What are you even complaining about? Like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what? Women back in the days didn't have kids? They had kids and they cleaned their house and they cook and they this and they that. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro.
It's funny, dude, because what's funny is that like there's somehow, and I wonder when it is, you have time to think about it. Like you have time to actually process this stuff. And it's like, you do a much better job of noticing these things. It's almost like philosophy a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I like love your stuff, is because it must be natural, like internal to you, where you're seeing these things and then you're coming up with the words to identify it. You know
brother, because I have a bullshit meter.
Yeah.
Right? I have a bullshit meter. So when someone tells me, oh, this is like it starts going off.
Here's why I say it. If I'm left home with my kids alone for a weekend or whatever, I know how hard it is to to clean up after them or tell them like just to discipline them if you're alone with them, or just it's really like cleaning up, taking them here. There's downtime, and I kind of like that because, and this is just me, like I try to keep her level of stress down, right? With everything that whatever it is that we do, because when I go home, it's a nice household. You know what I mean? And it's like she's in a good mood. She's like, you know what I mean? And that to me, that's like it is a level of teamwork. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying like, so I do the work, I make the money, right? But at the same time, she takes care of the house. You know what I mean? And takes care of the kids and does the things like sits down and does homework. Like I try to sit down and do homework with my kids. It's impossible. Like I look at it, she can sit for an hour, 2 hours straight, and like with the kids doing their homework. I just never do it,
Brother,
maybe I'm a bad dad.
The reason you can is because you got to figure out how you're going to come up with 20, 30, 40, 50 grand a month to cover up your business and your cars and the schools and everything like that. But if your mind was free and clear sitting at home, hanging out, you know what I mean, you could sit there, you know what I mean, and teach whatever it is that they're learning, right? Yeah. I'm not saying that there's no work into it, but let's just be real about it and not say it's the hardest job, because it's not. You know what I mean? There's plenty of hard jobs out there.
There are hard jobs.
There's very hard jobs out there, and I think, and if you think about it again, in general, most stay-home moms, their kids are in school, then they drop them off, they pick them up, they take them to an aftercare, whatever, jiu-jitsu, baseball, whatever, and then in a few hours they go to bed. You know, like it's.
Yeah, but I've realized like right now, like a lot of the stuff is like our lives are their lives. You know what I mean? It's like, it really is like our lives become the kids' lives, meaning like just having to take them to different places. It's their sports, it's their events. Like you said, you talked about this before, is like a thing like jiu-jitsu. It's like, that's for you. You know what I mean? That's for you, like yourself. Like I go to the gym in the morning, I spend an hour and a half, 2 hours there. That's my time to just, do what I do. You know what I mean?
Right.
And obviously you have the office and everything else that's going on in your life, but
no, brother, going back to the kids, right? So like the kids, you see kids today, like they're in so many different things, and travel sports. They're killing marriages. They're killing families. You got to go here. You got to travel here. Practices every day from 5 till freaking 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. You know what I told my kids? All my kids are like world-class athletes, all of them. I said, I'm not taking you to travel sports. Oh, why not? I said, when you get older, when you go to high school, the high school will take you. I said, right now, I was like, you have to do things locally. You can come to jiu-jitsu or do something around
I think it's
town.
smart. That's really smart, because we tried it.
It drains the parents.
No, it's exhausting.
It drains your soul. And then the other thing is, you're talking about, the wife has to take them here. They don't have to go everywhere, the kids.
Yeah.
Like when we were kids, bro, we went outside. You went outside and you played. You climbed trees. You jumped in the lake. You built a golf cart. You did things with your brain. You figured things out. You know what I mean? Today, the kids, every second, with the helicopter parents, they got to be.
Yeah.
Like, bro, whatever, man. Like, take it easy. Let them be kids a little bit.
Yeah.
Let them relax. They'll figure things to do.
Yeah, no, we have our hamster wheel set up where it's like, you kind of live in like your own little circle. There's only like, there's school, then there's like the tennis courts,
right.
And there's the house, and there's the gym.
Right. Everything's
There's
around.
really nothing else. You know what I mean? Like
That's
we don't,
good, man.
Unless it's like you said, date night. I'm not heading down to Miami. I'm not heading into Fort Lauderdale.
Right.
Let me change subject real quick. I want to talk to you about your jiu-jitsu journey. When did you start? And because I know you're like a 3rd or 4th degree black belt. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I've been doing martial arts since a little boy.
Uh-huh.
And when I opened up my gym, I was teaching Muay Thai kickboxing, boxing, hand-to-hand combat, Krav Maga, Aikido, everything that I already knew, but privately. And when 2008 happened and I switched to the academy, I went into teaching classes. And when I went to teaching classes, right before I switched over from privates to classes, this guy came into my gym. His name was Little Nick. And when we used to do Aikido in my school, we used to move all the weights to the side, like literally pick up the machines.
Yeah.
Move them to the side, put on these little puzzle mats, and then we would fight there. And this guy, and he like challenged me. Back in the days, people would like do like challenge fights. And we did this little MMA fight, and I was beating him. But then when the fight went to the ground, he swept me, took my back, and choked me out.
Really?
And I was like, what the hell? I said, what is that? He goes, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And I was like, 07, 08. And I was like, man, I got to learn this. So I took off my black belt, put on a white belt, and started training Jiu Jitsu full time. I went to a school.
Yeah.
And I went in there and I started training. The guys tried to go hard on me because they knew I knew a little something.
Yeah.
And they literally tried to kill me. It was like old school, all Brazilian guys. And I remember I was so out of breath that I went outside and almost like fainted on the sidewalk, right? This is back in the days. There was no waivers. There was nothing.
Yeah.
I remember sitting out there like this, like dead. And the guys, after they locked up, they walked over me. They didn't, nothing. You need water, nothing. Just walked over me, left me there. And I remember saying to myself, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to fuck everybody up. I just don't know when, but I'm coming. 2 hours later, after being on the freaking ground, getting myself together, I went home. I told my wife, she's like, man, you know, maybe don't do it. And I was like, nah, I'm coming there tomorrow. And I showed up there the next day.
Yeah.
They're like, what the hell? I was like, how do I sign up? And that's how it started.
Really?
And then 2 weeks later, I did my first tournament, which they thought I was crazy for signing up, not knowing jiu-jitsu. And then from there, bro, I just started training full time, twice a day, 6 days a week. I got my black belt in 2015.
Uh-huh.
And
Were you still training like at your gym? Like you still had like your own gym where you
I had
were
my own
training other
gym.
people, and you're also separately training.
I had my own
jiu-jitsu?
gym, and then I was also going to Miami, Cyborg's gym. My teacher, Roberto Abreu Cyborg. I was going
Cyborg,
there.
yeah.
I was going there. I was training with him, and then I was running my own classes at my academy. And then when I got my black belt, I stopped going like commercial with everything else and just focused just on jiu-jitsu in 2015. And it's been ever since. I won multiple, 4-time Florida State champion, placed third in the Pan Ams. I fought at the World Championships. I won like shitload of like local tournaments.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
But yeah, man, jiu-jitsu has definitely been one of the biggest blessings in my life. Yeah.
Yeah, you fell in love with it, huh? That was your passion.
Brother, because, you know, I've always been like, you know, so aggressive and strong, and where jiu-jitsu showed me a whole nother part of me that I didn't know. It showed me how to be calm, cool, and collective. It showed me, you know, how to stay, you know, calm during really hard times, you know, where before it was all about like force, you know, and here it's the opposite, just using the other guy's, you know, energy, techniques. You might be smothered. There's a little bit of air. Breathe. Find yourself. Finding their solution to everything. If you have the right mindset, if you're solution-based, there's no problem that cannot be solved. And that's what jiu-jitsu is, like human chess. Every move you make, there's something that I can counter you with.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, like chess. There was
chess.
a famous chess player. I forget what his name was. It was like the guy that they made after Bobby Fischer.
Yeah.
You heard that
Yeah.
story about that? And then
Yeah.
the guy became like a very, very good jiu-jitsu, you know, fighter.
So it's funny, you know, when you mentioned chess, in 2018, I tore my knee really bad. And again, I started like, my whole life was like jiu-jitsu then.
Yeah.
Everything. I had like this huge academy. Things were like, I was killing it in the competition scene. And then I tore my knee really bad. I had like almost like a total knee construction on the right knee. And I remember I was getting depressed because I couldn't train. I couldn't teach. Everything, my whole life was jiu-jitsu. Now I couldn't do anything with jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And I remember my father-in-law came by the house and we had a little chessboard. And he was showing the kids how to move the pieces. And I said, can you show me? And he showed me. He didn't really know how to play. He just knew how to move them. Brother and I became obsessed with chess.
Oh, really?
And now I'm like a purple belt in chess. I'm pretty good. I play chess every day about an hour.
Really?
Every day.
With like on computers or
Like on the phone.
Really?
On the phone, yeah. Chess.com.
Yeah, I like. I could play it, but I'm not good. There's no there's no strategy.
And
with
no
my
one ever
chess.
taught me anything.
Yeah.
Just how to move the pieces. And then again, just playing over and over and over and over and losing and winning, losing and winning.
Yeah.
I started climbing up.
That's pretty cool, man. I mean, that's like, I think that's how you become good at anything, is by You got to practice. You got to practice. You got to get knocked down. You got to learn from your mistakes. You got to get back up. You got to learn just ways to improve. What did you do right? What did you do wrong? And then push forward. I mean, that's what I did with trial work, with in personal injury. But I started as a prosecutor. I lost my first 10, 15 cases, 15 trials, where I should have won probably most of them. There's not guilties left and right because, you go in there and you're going up against a much better lawyer, but little by little you start to learn, hey, I made this mistake here, I did this there. And then all of a sudden, sometimes the wins start happening, and then it's like you build up and all of a sudden it's like you look back at this like mountain you climbed, and you're like, wow,
I feel like my biggest breakthroughs in life have all been through downfalls.
Yeah.
Every time there was a downfall, I fell really hard but then shot up. Because I took that downfall as a lesson and not as like doomsday. So every single time that life hits me really hard, I find a way to take all that hurt, all that sadness, all that disappointment, and said, how do I get better from this? And what can I learn from this? And I take that and I apply it, and then it's like you just shoot up.
Yeah, I saw a video and you talked about it where you were talking to another guy who was going through a difficult time, and you drew a chart of like the stock market. You know what I mean? Yes. And I've said that to other people before. It's something that's always been in my mind is like the stock market. You're going to look at that chart and there's going to be these dips, these bad dips, but then after those dips, it will spike, and maybe there'll be another dip, but it's going to keep. And then if you look at the whole trajectory, you know what I mean? It's like it's up. You know what I mean? It's going to continue to rise.
It's up.
And so I guess you got to go by that's definite philosophy.
People are constantly judging their life by the current moment that they're in, and like you have to take yourself out of that bad moment, or out of that good moment. Like I tell this to people all the time, like when you're in a bad moment, don't dwell on it. It's going to pass. When you're in a good moment, don't over celebrate it because you might be blinding yourself of there's other bad stuff going on or whatever. Like try to be objective. Take a step back of whatever the situation is, good or bad, and look at it from a bird's eye view. And when you do so, you'll be able to make so much better decisions. I tell guys, when guys ask me like, hey man, I'm thinking about getting married or I'm thinking about this. And I tell them, I'm like, you got to do your homework. So what do you mean? I said, well, if you were going to buy a house, what would you do? He's like, hire a realtor. I said, okay. And what does the realtor do? You tell him what you want. I want a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, on the ocean, whatever, this neighborhood. Okay, so he starts looking for you. And then he shows you 10 houses. You narrow it down to 3. And then you pick the final one. And once you pick it, then what happens? Then you got to do title search. You got to do you got to do an inspection.
Yeah.
And then after you got all that information, then you make a logical decision. Do I buy the house or not? If the house has a bad roof, you know about it. And then you just say, yeah, I'm willing to invest another $50,000 to buy this house. And then you do so. But how come is it when it comes to marriage, right? Or relationships, we just jump in, excuse my language, because the pussy's good. We get all locked in, right? Like, oh my gosh. Or whatever. It could be for the woman too, like the guy's charming and he's giving her a good old brajo. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is, right? Like we need to be logical. So did you do an inspection on this person? Did you do a title search on this person? A credit check. Like who are these people's parents? You know what I mean? Who's their mother? You see her, most likely she's going to be like her mother. Who's her parent? Like what's her past like? And then after you know everything, then make the decision.
Yeah.
But at least if you make that decision with logic, you're not going to have all this resentment later on. So, God gave us a brain and we can use it or not use it. And it's very important because when you use your heart, you're subjective. When you use your brain, you're objective. You always want to use your brain, because your heart's most of the time is going to lead you wrong. You know what I mean? Use your head.
Yeah. Tell me about this the 1% Club. I know that you have a coaching program. I want to hear all about it.
Yeah.
Because I know you have just like I said, just a history of coaching people for decades now. You know what I mean? And now I know you've brought it kind of like in like an easy way to people that can access you and other people, like the brotherhood. So tell me about it.
Right. So originally I had like different coaching programs to help people with like get in shape, get fit. It was called my No Excuses program. And then I had a program called All In where I would coach like men one-on-one on like life, relationships, business, whatever, mentorship. And then, but that took a lot of time for me. And I'm so busy between my wife, my kids, my home, the businesses. So I said, I got to come up with a program that's very affordable and I can give people as much value that I can, you know, but try to do it more on a broader spectrum where it's not just one-on-one.
Yeah.
So the 1% Club, the philosophy behind it is to be the 1% of your community. Okay? Don't be like the rest of the 99%. Do things that others are not willing to do. You know, if it's waking up on time, if it's not doing drugs, if it's not drinking, if it's not complaining, you know, if it's doing your workouts daily, if it's having those hard conversations with your wife, with your kids, with your business partner, or whatever. That's what considers a 1%er. Someone who's elite. Now, none of us just are born elite. It's a work in process. So what I do is I take everything that I know and I put it into that program. And I created it on the platform School. And basically people subscribe. Very affordable, $99 a month.
Yeah.
And we have a community of brothers. Every day the guys have to do a check-in. And I give them, you know, a list of things they have to check in. Did you do your morning affirmation and prayer? Very important for me that you do that. Did you work out today? What was one win? What's one improvement? Did you read? All the things that I do that made me a 1%er in life,
Yeah.
I give them to you. So you have your daily check-ins. Then daily I go in on the program and I'll do a quick video just for those guys or a quick message on food for thought, you know, something that they need to think about or a situation that I'm going through and then, hey, how something they can learn from. And then I have, every week I have 2 challenges, one physical, one mental. So for example, this week for 7 days, no complaining. When you see yourself complain, shut up, keep on moving. Physical challenge, 100 push-ups every day. Something simple. Last week was 10,000 steps.
Yeah.
You know, like every week is something different. And then we get together. So for the local guys, once a month, we get together. If it's the gym, go kayaking, go for a run, go for a walk, go sit down, do a prayer or something. And then we have a book club. And like right now, we're all reading Meditations by Marcus Aurelius.
Okay.
And we talk about the book and what lessons we can learn from them. And then weekly, we have weekly coaching calls. But instead, again, before I would do them one-on-one, now I have it in a group setting.
Got it.
And that's what it is, man.
How long is the coaching call?
It's about an hour.
About an hour.
Yep. And what I do is I'll bring up a topic, and then we'll discuss it. And then if somebody has something that is going on, they can say, hey, Sensei, Yaniv, blah, blah, and then I'll give them answers.
You know, what I think drew me to a lot of your videos and stuff, and I was listening to a lot of them this morning, is just like and I think it's just in life in general, it's about being positive, you know what I mean? Like that positive attitude, you know? And then, you know, when you also talk about like finances and making money can't be number one. And that's always been something for me is like with law, it was finding something that like I love doing and then becoming really, really good at it. Right. And if you do that, there's a good chance that you'll make money. You know what I mean? But don't make money the number one priority. But I think what's awesome about what you're doing is you're adding so much value to other people that need it. You know, like you said, you're in this 1% range. I put myself like when I look in the mirror and I say to myself, like, I have everything, like I'm lined up, you know what I mean? I'm dialed in. And listen, I have hard days and my mind can take over and I can be very depressed. I'm going to get out of it and I'm going to get through it. But there's so many people that are hate their job. They're unhappy in their relationship. They feel undervalued. They feel underpaid. they need, and I need it too. Like just having this conversation, and this is like my coaching is sitting down with, I named this podcast The Reputation for Winning podcast because I want to sit down with winners. I want to sit down with people because it actually helps me. You know what I mean? Right. I give you value because I can help promote your business and promote the company, but just learning. You know what I mean?
100%.
But I love that you do that. You sit down and you have this group of people that they're thirsting for that information and that help, and you could change lives in a good way.
So, brother, another thing that's really cool about it is one of the things of the daily check-ins is, did you support a brother?
Yeah.
So if you, every day, everyone's supposed to check in. So let's just say, we saw Eric didn't check in. Well, I expect the other guys to reach out to me like, yo, Eric, what's up?
Yeah.
Because we all know everything we need to do. We just don't do it. We drift because of whatever. But if you have other brothers holding you accountable, you know what I mean? Then you have a much higher chance to show up.
Yeah.
If hey, when I was younger, I used to wonder, why did people hire me to train them? Because for me, working out has been part of my whole life. And some of the guys were even in great shape because they were so busy with their businesses and their families that if they didn't have an appointment with me at 8 a.m., to meet me at the gym, they wouldn't show up because they would have another meeting, another call, something would pull them away. So having accountability is huge, and having somebody to answer to is huge. And if you look at the best athletes in the world, you look at the best business people, everybody, they all have coaches. They all have mentors. They all have somebody, that they listen to and pushes them to be better. If you look at Anthony Robbins, he had Jim Rohn. You look at Michael Jordan had a coach. It doesn't matter who. Everybody has a coach.
Yeah, Alcaraz, Sinner, the top tennis players, they all have a coach.
Everyone has a coach. And sometimes you might be even better than your coach at that field, but your coach keeps you accountable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to me, it's priceless. And I tell the guys, I said, you guys don't understand that I wish I also had somebody say, hey, Yaniv, go do that extra thing, whatever it is. I'm the one who always has to be the top, but it's nice if someone can be like, hey, go do another rep. Hey, go do another this, another that, whatever it is, or don't do this or don't do that. Because getting pushed is a privilege. It's when you don't get pushed. I tell people all the time, the people who love you the most are going to push you the hardest.
Yeah.
The people who hate you, they're going to let you just be. They don't care that you succeed. Yeah. They're not checking in on you.
And they may even be rooting against you.
Yeah, brother. You know what I mean? So, I tell this to my kids. I tell this to people I coach. I'm like, I'm hard on you because I love you.
Yeah.
If I wasn't hard on you, then you should be worried. As the people that are hardest on you are the ones who want you to succeed the most because they know that life is not easy and they know that you can do better.
That's what you talked about with being held accountable. It's like Alcoholics Anonymous and things like that. It's like people that are struggling with drug abuse or substance abuse or alcohol. There's a community, you know what I mean? And that community is there for accountability. And
Correct.
Somehow they found this power with people being able to stay sober by having other people to reach out, check in, the daily affirmations, all those things.
Right.
It's almost like it's so funny because there's so many people that resist it. I've had coaches before, like business coaches, and sometimes they're helpful. They've helped kind of set out a trajectory, and then maybe there's this level of I don't want to have to check in all the time. You know what I mean? That's just me, but I struggle with it to some extent because it's I know how much better I could be, but then I also say I just don't want to block my calendar and have to show up and be held accountable.
Right. It's an ego thing, bro.
Yeah.
We all have it, but you don't understand that your biggest enemy is you.
Yeah.
In every part of your life, right? You're the one who's holding yourself back. You're the one who's when you get out of your own way, brother. When you get out of your own way, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
At everything. When I tell somebody hey, go do this, with your wife. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, if I do this, I'm like, if you don't believe in yourself, she ain't going to believe in you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or go talk to this person or go get this opportunity or go start this business. They have so much self-doubt. They have so many demons in their head telling them the opposite. You're always going to have a good Eric and a bad Eric, right? The bad one is always going to put doubt and fear and discouragement, where the good one is going to say, get up, you can do it, go out there, make that contact, take your wife out, say no to your kids, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Who's gonna win? The one you're gonna feed. The more you feed the good one, the stronger he's gonna get. The more you feed the bad one, the quieter the good one's gonna get. It's gonna be like this.
Yeah.
You know, so it's important, you know, and, you know, just to circle back to something you said about, you know, the reason you like my stuff is because I'm positive. And brother, I had a very hard life. We could sit here for 3 days and I could tell you stories of things that's happened to me. And the reason I'm so positive is because I have gratitude. And the reason I have gratitude is because I look at all the simplest things in my life and I'm like, man, I'm the luckiest man in the world. Because if right now, at this moment, if I give you $100 billion, I give you 50 of the hottest women in the world, of all flavors and colors, I give you 100 world championships or whatever it is that you want to be in, the best attorney in the world, but I take away your health. You say, man, take it all back. Just give me my health.
Yeah.
As you know, the other day I had a stomach virus, food poisoning. Brother, I was on the floor. I looked like somebody shot me with a shotgun. You know? It didn't matter. Anything about me didn't matter. I was dead meat until I got medicine. You know, so it's like, before you wake up and start bitching about your life, that's why my morning affirmation is, thank you, God, for another day. First, you start by that. Then you look at your hands. Oh, wow, I got hands. Cool. How lucky am I? Because there's a motherfucker out there who doesn't have hands. I can smell. Very cool. I can see. I can feel. I can talk. Right away, brother, you're rich. What about even just taking a piss? Right? You know, like I remember I was coaching this one guy. He had I don't know if it was kidney stones or something, but he couldn't pee.
Yeah.
Bro, the guy's like, Yaniv, he's like, I wanted to kill myself. He goes, the pain. He goes, the feeling of having to pee, but you can't. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, but we take everything for granted. You got to go take a piss. Hey, I'm going to take a piss. Cool. How come you're not aware of it until it's gone? So if every day you wake up and you just are thankful for the most basic things that God has given you, there's no way that you'll go one day without a smile. Everywhere I go, I smile. So why are you smiling? I said, well, I'm the richest man in the world.
Yeah.
Why? Because I have my health. And then after you have your health, now you can be like, oh, wow, I have a house. I have a car. I have a wife. I have children. Yeah, maybe everything is not perfect, but you still have. You know, we only get sad and ungrateful, you know, when we take everything for granted. You know, so the more we can have gratitude, the better life we see. It's all in here.
I'm glad you brought that up. Like the health thing is it's so critical, and people just, they don't, and I take it for granted also. It's like Steve Jobs, right? All the money in the world, pancreatic cancer, gone. You know what I mean? And what, you know, like, yeah, there's a legacy, but the gift of life is gone. The gift of being here and spending time with people and just enjoying what there is outside, or what your house, or on your vacations, whatever it is.
Right.
You know, you don't have it. I remember I went and I forget what the reason why. I think I did like an executive checkup or something. I forget what it was, but they did like a CT of my chest or an X-ray. No, it was just an X-ray. I had to get an X-ray for, I think I was getting a surgery for something, and the X-ray, the radiologist read that there was a mass in my chest. And the nurse came in and said, you know, I'm going in there just to make sure I'm clear for surgery. And she, you know, it was a minor surgery, and she comes in and says, oh, I have some bad, and like, this was like just matter of fact, I have some bad news. The radiologist says you have a mass in your chest. You need to follow up. You're going to have to get a CT scan. There's a good probability that it's a tumor. Like, it was like, she's just like,
out of nowhere,
peels the Band-Aid off. Yeah. And when I tell you, like, my world crumbled, and, you know, every little thought that went through my mind, like, I have lung cancer. I'm not going to, like, and I know lung cancer because I used to handle tobacco cases. I used to sue tobacco companies. I knew everything about lung cancer. And I was like, my chances of survival are like, I'm going to be around.
My father died of lung cancer.
I knew that from one of your videos. And it's like my entire world, like, and everything shut down. I remember just like that gift of life was taken away from me. And like, everything that I had, everything, like, in my kids and my family, and like, It's going to be gone. And it's like one of those moments where you like have this full reevaluation. And what's crazy is that fortunately I know doctors and stuff, and I got the X-ray and I got a CT scan very quickly. I paid cash for it. I wasn't going to wait for insurance to like clear in 2 weeks. Like I needed to know. And as soon as I got the disc for the CT, I sent it to a radiologist that I knew, and with the X-ray, and he looked and he's like, Eric, radiologist was wrong. There's nothing there. It was just the shadows that met up in a certain part of your chest look like there's something there, but I look at the CT scan, there's nothing. You're fine. And like, gosh, the weight off your, but then you really sit back and you reflect, and it's like, without that gift of health, a bad flu, whatever it is, you take that away. It doesn't matter. Like everything else in the world, you have nothing.
So brother, like most people in life, what's the thing that they avoid talking about the most is death. We all want to make believe like it doesn't exist, right? So we put it like on the back burner, or like, and we don't want to talk about it, and we just live life like we're never gonna die. We waste time endlessly. If it's scrolling, if it's bullshitting, if it's whatever, right? What keeps me aligned is I think about death every single day, brother. Every single day I wake up and say, is today going to be the last day? Every day. Somebody says, oh man, you sound like doomsday. I was like, no, my friend, the complete opposite. If you know today might be your last day, how are you going to act? How are you going to treat your wife? How are you going to be with your kids? You had to go to work. How are you going to be here? Are you going to be, in a bad mood, or are you going to be killing it? Right? So, and how are you going to spend your time? Are you going to spend your time with people that you don't want to spend your time with? Or are you going to spend your time with people that you do want to spend your time with? How's your day going to look like? You see, most people don't align usually until bad things happen to them. So you were probably the most aligned when you heard that bad news. Like all your priorities became real clear. But then as the bad news subsided, eventually, just naturally, you go back to
right back
to normal everyday bullshit. But if every day you wake up and you say, you know what, today might be my last day. And just so you know, you're not being negative, because every day could be your last day. No one woke up that died today or is dying today, said, I'm going to die today. They went to work, they got hit by a car, whatever. They climb a ladder, they fell off, they hit their head, they're dead. Whatever. They went to the doctor for a routine visit, they found out they had lung cancer. My dad never went to the doctor. Finally, he started making money, he got insurance, everything like that. Like, I'm going to go do a check. Go do a checkup. Oh, you got lung cancer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bro, the guy smoked for almost 40 years. We tried to get rid of his cigarettes every day. And he would fight us. We would throw them away. We would hide them. He goes, I'm just going to buy new ones. The day he found out he had cancer, he threw the cigarettes out. Why is it that when it's too late, we want to change? Why is it when things are coming toward end, do we want to, change directions? We need to do it now, bro. We need to do it now. I talk about, that video that went viral. I go, I even hate fighting with my wife. I was like, why? I was like, you're stealing good moments away. You're wasting them on bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like wasting my time, bro. On my wall at my academy, it says, don't count time, make time count. Because I don't survey my life by like how long it is. I look at it by the quality. Who cares? I train a lot of older guys privately. And anyone that has like older parents, like most of them live in a terrible life. They're sick, right? They're just like, the only reason they're alive is through medicine, modern medicine. And if you say, oh, I live till 80. Well, if your last 10 years were trash, what kind of life was that anyways? Who are you living for? Like there has to be quality. Oh, I've been married for 30 years. But if you and your wife sleep in separate beds, you have sex once a year because it's your anniversary. You know what I mean? You only stay together for the kids. Why are you even claiming that you're married for 30 years? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Quality versus quantity. And if you keep death close to you, you live life 100. Bro, that's why I ride a motorcycle. That's why I do everything I want to do.
I was going to tell you, you got to stop riding that motorcycle, man.
Yeah, no, brother, never.
I know. Well, listen, sometimes you got to live fast, you know.
Brother, I'll tell you what, man. So before I rode a motorcycle, everything I heard about motorcycles was bad.
Yeah.
Don't ever ride a motorcycle. Da 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 da. So anybody that I knew that had a motorcycle before I rode, I was like, you shouldn't ride a motorcycle. I knew nothing about motorcycles besides just what you hear. Motorcycles are bad. But then what you don't realize is that people die every day, brother, of everything. You know what I mean? A motorcycle is not gonna speed up your death or delay it. You're gonna die when you need to die.
See, what I'm going to tell you is that I did ride a motorcycle. I rode motorcycles like dirt bikes and stuff as a kid. I got a bike in college. Very close friend of mine in college got into a bad accident. But when it comes to motorcycles, it's not the motorcycle that's dangerous. It's the other driver that's on the road that doesn't see you that's dangerous. They're the freaking... I can't tell you. It's just it's like a lot of times it's not the motorcyclist's fault. You know what I mean? That's the risk. That's the risk.
You know when the closest I came to dying was falling off a ladder.
Yeah.
I was trimming my tree. The branch was over there. I was on a 10-foot ladder.
Yeah.
I was 10 feet up. I had the extended chainsaws. I cut a branch like probably where the wall is over there. The branch fell over there. It bounced off the concrete. It flew into my ladder, hit my ladder.
Oh, my God.
I flew up and fell on the concrete. Thank God, I tucked my chin in and broke my fall.
Yeah.
This is all like subconscious. Like I didn't plan it.
Yeah.
And I thought I was paralyzed. I couldn't move.
Really?
Yeah, ambulance, the whole 9 yards. And when I went into the hospital, they're like, oh my gosh, the girl started crying. I said, why are you crying? She goes, I just lost my dad. He fell off a ladder and died.
Oh.
So shits and giggles, I go on Google. I go, what's the percentage people dying? It's a shitload of people die every day falling off ladders.
Yeah, ladders are dangerous too.
Like huge, And again,
I was just talking to my kid yesterday about how dangerous ladders are.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally,
bro.
just yesterday.
People left and right dying from ladders. So it's like people want to avoid, like I said, they want to avoid death. But when you're avoiding death, you're avoiding life.
Yeah.
So the more you say, well, don't do this, don't go there. Hey, COVID's around. Don't be around anybody. Lock yourself up inside the house. Whatever it is, you're just stopping life. You got to go and live, brother. I'm not saying be reckless. I'm not saying go 120 on the highway, right? With one hand smoking a cigarette. I'm telling you, you want to ride.
I agree. Listen, like I said, I love bikes. If I
Let's get you a Harley.
Yeah, no. If I were to get anything, it would definitely be more of a fast,
Brother, you get on the Harley, bro. We go all across the country.
Oh, do you?
We go all across the country. We went to Canada, everywhere we've been.
Yeah, I had a GS. Was it a GS 500? It was a Suzuki, I think, back in college. So it was kind of like, it wasn't like the full forward, but it was kind of sit back. Not sit back. It was mid.
Brother, we ride like this.
Yeah, I know.
Hanging out for miles, man. It's wind therapy. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, sure. That's nice. I got jet skis. That's what I do. I go on jet skis. So.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's like a whole other, just like total freedom. You know.
Yeah.
All right, so listen, how do people get in touch with you? They want to reach out for the 1% Club, or they want to come visit your jiu-jitsu studio. How do they find you?
If you're on Instagram, it's Yaniv Rosenberg 1. My academy is Yaniv Rosenberg Jiu-Jitsu. You can Google it, YanivRosenbergJiu-Jitsu.com, YRJiu-Jitsu.com. If you want to go on my coaching programs, it's YanivRosenberg.com. And or just go to my Instagram, click one of the links, and everything is there.
You built the brand, man, and I love it. I love it. You're doing awesome things in the community, and I'm going to definitely visit the Jiu Jitsu studio.
Let's go.
And put a gi on and get my ass kicked for for an afternoon.
Let's do it.
And we'll have to record it too. But listen, I appreciate you coming in, man, and
Thank you so much
joining
for
me for the
having me,
podcast,
brother.
the Reputation for Winning, and we'll post this up. I'll send you copies of the videos, put it up on your social media, whatever you want to do with it.
Let's go, brother. Thank you.
Man.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Bruce.